got a partially dead red oak. I'm gonna try to fall today. Been out here for not too long, kind of taking down some little stuff, and I was looking for something a little bigger. I'm going for a bigger tree, might as well go for a fun one, right? You know, from this angle, you know, she looks fine. It just looks like a normal old red oak. But look around, and she's seen some better days. It's not too high of a degree of rot. I know the tree was just alive, you know. It's still got partially green leaves on it. It was living just fine, but it's a partially dead oak, and it's kind of just in my way. I did kind of do a little bit of a check, just to be sure that I'm not gonna completely get slaughtered if I try to fall this tree. And you know, the wood inside, it's not the greatest. It's not all just basically spider infested dirt like this top layer is. And it's got this solid, you know, wrap around to it. I'm gonna whack at it a little bit more. Just try and be sure I'm not gonna end up dead after this. But it looks like the degree of rot only goes in a couple inches, and then hopefully it'll be fine. You know, if not, well, it'll be a fun story. Might be fun to watch. Now, based on videos that I've seen from some of these chainsaw guys, I know that with a partially dead tree, there's a decent chance that the inside will be kind of fucked up, and that it could pretty much twist entirely and take a completely different trajectory than you would expect. The plan is based on the way it favors, probably land, probably go roughly somewhere between meow and meow. Yet again, I could be completely wrong. So, obviously, the big black hoe has got to move. I've gone all the way back out into the alley, just in case. Thought about trying to park right by like this tree, but you know, tree and rock right where my door would be. So I would have been kind of stuck, and even then, if by some act of nature that tree falls backwards, it's right in the path. So better safe than sorry, because that's my old lady's car, not mine. Now, one possible snag I could see is it might get caught in that tree up there. Just a little bit, based on the rot in it, is more likely to favor going like straight that way to some degree, within like there to there. So, as long as it doesn't twist and completely crush me, maybe I'll be fine. Alright, a little birdie told me I might regret putting my phone here, but it'll make for a cool camera shot. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Holy shit. Okay. If you guys saw the last video, you know what my first felling looked like. Also, the tree fell like almost perfectly within my trajectory. So, that was epic. I don't know if you saw, but I kind of booked it the fuck out of there as soon as I saw what way it was going. That was about as quick as I expected, but let's take a look at this stump. Now, I'm no professional logger, tell you what, but compared to my first felling, compared to what I expected this one to be, this is damn near perfect in my book. I was able to get the wedge out easily enough, and kind of like that. Had to correct it just a little bit. The wedge went almost perfectly. I can make something out of this. It's beautiful wood. And you know, you can probably see that this is not exactly even yet. Like, the wedge was like right here, and that was off to the side a little bit. If I had paid attention a little better, come in a little straighter along this back. Now, that might have made it veer off even further, and my phone would be toast. 'Cause this was a weak spot. This is what was holding it. Well, I don't know, if I think about it long enough I can figure it out, but wood in the middle, it's not that bad. Like I said, the rot really only went in like 2 inches. It's actually pretty solid. If I had gone in for the kill up higher, it would be a different story. As I cut down here, the track of rot is only like 3-4, about 4 inches wide. Even internally up higher, it was like 8 inches. It was a lot, but as far as like what I expected, that was damn near flawless. Gonna have a brief intermission, take off some of these branches, see if there's anything I want to take or keep for my personal woodworking ventures. Definitely want this. I don't know what I want to do with it, but I definitely want it. Just for the hell of it, I went back and rewatched the footage when the tree dropped, and I saw that it did in fact twist, which is, you know, that didn't really surprise me. I kind of expected that. And I'm gonna have to get a good screen cap of that and make it my Facebook profile picture or something. I wanna make a spot where I can set up my phone and then take off some of these branches. Also, something I noticed, my saw is relatively efficient. Like, I haven't run it much. I really haven't used that much fuel, so. Husqvarna 450 Rancher. Ain't that bad. You know, I mean, I was cutting a smaller tree earlier, and the chain slipped off the track. It was a smaller tree. I was just doing a little bit of light clearing of little crap. The tree didn't really, it didn't really fall over. It kind of just stayed there flat. And the chain was still moving. Chain was stuck under it. Damn thing jumped the track on the bottom. I had to fix that. I had to kind of figure out how one self-tightens a saw chain to be about right. But, like, got a little bit of give in it, you know. It moves freely by hand. To kind of paraphrase some other guy on YouTube, I don't remember who it was. It's one of these chainsaw guys, obviously. Like, yeah, I think you're supposed to pronounce that Husqvarna, but I'm an American, and that's called a Husqvarna. Amen, brother. Got kind of an angle set up on the stump. Probably not gonna be a great angle, but might get a couple good shots. These sunglasses might look kind of cool. I mean, these came like right next to the chainsaws and at Lowe's. It might look kind of cool, but if you get like sweaty, they get sweaty. It's kind of gross. Might be worth investing in some of those wire mesh ones. Just had a bee going for a free ride on my hand. Not today, little dude. Now, if you happen to be someone kind of like me who has never run a chainsaw, or you're stuck watching these chainsaw videos on YouTube and you're like, man, that's cool, I want to get a chainsaw. If you don't know what you're doing, I'll pass on a little bit of advice that I've found from videos so far. First off, you got to protect yourself. Bare minimum, and I would say bare fucking minimum. I hardly do more than that, but bare minimum, you need eye protection. Because this thing, it just slings shit at you, Look, my pants are covered in sawdust. You don't want that stuff getting in your eyes. If you're like me, you're thinking about doing this, you really need to get some kind of protective equipment. That's only partially part of why I'm not really doing a lot of felling out here yet. It's because I'm not at my safest, You really want to get your protective equipment. You gotta protect your body. Because this is loud, it's sharp, and in the event of an accident, incredibly unpredictable. I haven't had any accidents yet. The closest thing I've had is that chain slipping off when I cut that small tree that it didn't like. At the bare minimum, I'm aware of this, at the bare minimum, you gotta be aware that this is a dangerous machine, and you have to be aware that shit can and does happen. But you always have to be aware of what you're doing. Don't let your mind wander. You gotta pay attention to that thing. You gotta pay attention to what you're doing. Before you fell a tree, you've got to be sure there is nothing and no one around. I've got a dog out here. He loves to run around and get in the way of everything. Especially when I've been cutting down trees with like a handsaw before. I think the chainsaw scares him, so that's good. Just, please be safe. And if you're gonna be like me and not have all the protective equipment yet, you have to be fully conscious and aware of the fact that shit does happen, and it can, and you have to be in that headspace, because that, at least in my opinion, gives you more of an incentive to be cautious and pay attention to what you're doing. Just, day one novice or professional, should all be the same mindset. You can't let your guard down. So if you're taking anything from me as a complete amateur out here dicking around with a chainsaw, take it. Take that. Never let your guard down. Because shit happens, bro. Just be careful.